Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Women over 50 shocked they can't get hired. The best thing that you can do for independent journalists like me to support me is to actually watch the entire video. At the end of the video, I'm going to give you actually reasons why this is happening. So let's get into the story. Fired. There's a group of people that never recovered from the Obama recession depression. Women over 50. Women over 50 and 65 now have to keep working due to divorce, mostly. As that last group that got married en masse, they were the ones that ushered in the peak of divorces. Because the temporary fix of stealing from their men and destroying their family gave them an injection of cash, after those years were over, they had to go back to work themselves. Except, as a group, they were fired first. I've quoted this stat over and over. Most women are broke 5 years after they are divorced, and 10% of them are homeless. While the woman might win the house in the divorce, she doesn't win having the ex-husband paying the mortgage. During the mortgage crisis, a glut of women lost their homes. In fact, during the Obama administration, the vast majority of those that lost their homes were women. But no one wanted to report that. How could they? Women owning homes equal world economic crisis? Obama would have been out faster than you could say cheese. In fact, he would have really been impeached by his own party, too. So, women had to work post-divorce. But the recession brought massive layoffs. While the country was focusing on manufacturing jobs, and the men that lost them, a very quiet group of women over 50 were also losing theirs. The media accidentally covered it up, or I think unintentionally, right? I don't think they intentionally covered it, by constantly reporting how many millions of men were losing their jobs. In fact, in the face of millions of men losing their jobs, women over 50 had no choice but to keep quiet. What could they say? Me too? Oh wait, hired. With the success of the new president and men going back to work and everyone getting hired, and even the very reluctant media reporting new record low unemployment numbers, including for women, the women over 50 were hopeful, but it never came. They not only applied for jobs, but companies even popped up trying to get the elderly employed. These companies were shocked, I say, that women over 50 weren't being hired, but even more shocked that this wasn't the case for men. So these companies could stay in business, but were left scratching their heads about the women. It was so shocking that women over 50, and even worse, 65, couldn't get hired. They started asking questions. And so, surveyors did what surveyors do. They survey. They recalled when a survey came out that found that men with black-sounding names were 50% less likely to even get a call back, which translated into something like 90% less likely to be hired than all other races. Armed with this methodology, they conducted a survey with men and women, going for female and male type jobs, and divided the ages into 3 equal sets of 20 years. 20, 40, 60 years old. While there was a slight drop-off for men, including men over 65, the fall-off for women was dramatic. They concluded categorically people don't hire women over 50, and even less over 65. Finally, employers' perspective. When asked about hiring women, or even voluntarily ranting about hiring women, employers were very candid about why they don't hire women. Period, right? The reason to not hire women in general fell into 3 categories. Women have zero work ethic. Now, if this doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. These are the opinions and the experiences of employers. So if you're offended by the experience of the employer, that means that there is something with your own worldview, that somebody else can't have a negative experience across the board with women. Are we clear about that? And by the way, when I say employer, I'm not talking about just men. Female employers have volunteered this, and even worse, have a worse perspective on hiring women in general. And when I say worse perspective, I mean they take a hard stance of, I will not hire women ever again. Female CEO of the company, female owner of the company. So let's see what are these three categories that they're talking about. That means I don't want to hear you complaining about, I have great work ethic and I can't believe you listed. Please be quiet. These are these people's experiences. I need to hire five people. Do you think I could hire a woman? Let's pause this video for a second. Do you think I could hire a woman to do any one of the 5 jobs that I need to be done? Could she do something for hours and hours and hours and hours on end and hand it over when I need it done? I want you to give me your honest opinion in the comment section. Number 1, women have zero work ethic. They spend their day doing mostly nothing, gossiping, causing drama, and not completing projects. If it's a mixed gender work environment, men complain that they have to do their own work and the women's work as well. Women were very crafty at forming a scenario where the men had to do their work and not reveal that they were doing their work for them. Again, I cite the study in Germany, where a major German corporation, set up secretly, unbeknownst to them, 3 different work groups, 1 all female, 1 all male, and 1 mixed gender. The gold standard was the all male group. Second to that, at 50% productivity, was the mixed gender, male and female. And the worst of the bunch was the all female group. Although it initially was reported internally only, it was leaked nationally. I don't know what became of that study, but there you have it. It's out there for you to go look that up. Number 2, women do not work needed hours. Women are notorious for taking off early and only doing work part-time to begin with, and refuse to stay longer. When a deadline is in the mix, women refuse to work overtime to get the project done. One female owner said that she despised women working in her company because as a tech company, very often they had deadlines. And the women would go home, not their full time, they would go home early and never work overtime, never. She said she depended and relied upon the men that worked in her company. And she said, do not encourage women to come work in the tech field because it has never worked out. From her perspective, it has never worked out. She has never hired a woman who actually worked out. Number 3, and this is the final one, women do not have the necessary skills to complete the job. Be it physical or mental, employers felt it was more risky to hire a woman and then find out she was incapable of doing the job at all. This was also in companies where the woman was working and then promoted. A huge chunk of those promoted women had been promoted because a male staff member had been doing both his job and her job. And because of company policy to promote women first, she got promoted, only to find out in her new position, which is far more isolated, she couldn't do the job, nor find some man to do it for her. So, some employers said they had had their fill of hiring women, only to find out they couldn't do the work. By the way, here's an addendum. As a side note, when the same thing was said after removing illegal workers, companies hired blacks and were up and running the very next day. And a massive sting operation conducted nationwide Illegal workers were removed from several companies over many, many states. Those positions were replaced by blacks, who assumed the roles and were operational within hours. This particular story was kept hush-hush. You can find it on YouTube. I don't know how to look it up. I happened upon it accidentally one day. So is there any solution as to women over 50 working? No, the solution is go home and be with your husband. Oh, but you can't go home and be with your husband because a lot of those women are now divorcees, right? So the culture has completely shifted where not only do women over 65 have to work, they have zero choice of what to do. And so they go on the government dole, and now taxpayers have to fund this person who, because of through her own choices, including not actually learning a skill, not actually gaining experience, and even if she does have experience, there are so many women who do not have the skill, who do not have the experience, that it impacts the few women that do. Honey, I am in your corner when it comes to that. When I meet a competent woman, I am more than praiseworthy. Find her praiseworthy, huh? And yes, it is unjust for you to actually be a woman of some competence, of some work ethic, and because so many have come before you and were not, that you have to pay the price for their incompetence. I guess you should get it tattooed on your forehead. I am competent. I can do a job. I can do the job. I can work circles around the best man that you got. Maybe not tattoo that on your forehead, but maybe as a temporary tattoo, maybe do that and walk in there. I don't think anybody, I don't think they'd forget you. I hope I am not sick, or I hope I'm not really sick. I'm sick, but I hope I'm not really sick. You know what I mean? I can't elucidate. I just got a report from YouTube that said that they will delete videos that they feel that the computer feels has violated their community guidelines. Because of what is going on right now, they have frozen the people coming into the office. And so now the computer is running YouTube right now. I'm amazed that I've been getting my videos through. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe. Turn your phone vertically and subscribe. Give me a like too. Thank you all. I'm in a very bad time. This is a very bad time for YouTube. I'm telling you. The people who are already rich on YouTube are not going to say anything, but all the rest of us are suffering. So if you can donate, I'll put a link. There's a link in the information box, and I'll put it in my first comment. Thank you all for watching.